the mowers that run lights, you know, and all that.
Well, I don't understand that. That's a regulator. That's not a problem. The trouble is, and I'll go away. So it's non-regulated. What's the output voltage of non-regulation? It's like leasing a dozer, 220, 110, 220.
It's a permanent magnet. Okay, the magnets are in the outer housing. They rotate around. There's no brushes. They're three-phase essentially.
Well, that's what the leasing of those are.
Yeah, and you just run it through like a regular old motorcycle or Briggs 20 amp regulator, and it takes that AC and turns it into DC, and it's regulated at your voltage. They'll put out 35, 40 volts of AC pretty easily.
Yeah, because like I was saying, the leasing of those are 230, 240, or 110, depending on which leasing of bill it is, or 130. You can actually regulate those down to, you know, 12, 24, and or some people are around at 110. Regulated for AC and run an AC off of them direct.
Yeah, you gotta have your initiating voltage though for those, because they're not self-generating until you initiate.
Exactly, right. But they initiate with 12.
They'll initiate with 9.
Well, probably less than that, but I'm just saying. Usually it's 11 or 12 initiates them.
Yeah, I've gotten a car going that didn't have a battery, and we used 3 9-volt batteries in parallel, and yeah, it jump-started the alternator. It was pretty wild. It worked. I had to bump start it going down the hill. Battery blew up. The original one, that's why we had to do that. Anyway, used the ones, the batteries out of our walkie-talkies to initiate the voltage in the alternator as they were going down the hill, and made enough juice to fire it up, and we drove it home. Those batteries got really hot really quick after it fired up.
Yeah, especially anything like a lease in the bill, you know, like 300-400 amp voltmeters. Run empty up.
Yeah, I think that was a 55 or something like that. That's just a Ford.
I think the standard telcos are, they're in the 50, 55, 60 amps. They're actually 90s or 120s. That does those. I don't know about Ford. But they're all meters that much. They have those weird diodes, singular diodes, back up. I don't like them.
Yeah, I've got a motor generator out here in my motor stack. It's it'll start a 10-horse Briggs engine. I don't know how much more than that it would start, but you flip the switch one direction and it's a starter, and as soon as it fires up you flip it the other direction and it becomes a generator. It's pretty cool.
Trying to remember how those were wired. It's like, even the newer fucking golf carts today, I know it was a 98 or 99 golf cart with the Kawasaki 160
That's a pretty neat trick. I'm not sure where the schematic is for the one that I have. There's a regulator involved with it. It's an outboard regulator.
Yeah, I know it's an outboard regulator on them. But we ended up buying it. I got it running again. Got it working, but trying to remember how that worked. It was kind of witchcrafty in a way. Made sense after I figured it out.
Yeah, the one I got is currently hooked up to a 5-horse Briggs horizontal shaft engine.
I think that's what these 170 Kawasaki engines horizontals are, about a 5, 6, or 6 horse, somewhere around there, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Makes the 235s are like an 8.
Something like that. Yeah, a club car and a John Deere golf carts, they all run that 170, Kawasaki 170, 270 motors. Look at John Deere Gators used them too.
Yeah, somewhere along the way I ended up with a fuel tank for a Gator, brand new. That's a convoluted thing.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah, they jam it in along one side and around the engine, kind of.
The engine, frame rails, fucking, yeah, it's a cluster.
I've advertised it a couple times for sale, but, you know, it's like, how often does somebody need a fuel tank for a Gator? You know, you got to really fuck one up to need one, and by the time you fuck it up that bad, you ain't fixing it.
Yeah, now if it was a Kubota, then yeah, because we had a fucked up tank in a Kubota. Dumbasses fucking caught it on fire and melted it.
Oh, yeah, that'll fuck one up, because they're plastic. Anyway, yeah, the one on this one here kind of goes under the seat and up the other side. Yeah, when they get sabotaged by throwing dirt in them, it's a royal pain in the ass to clean them out. I jacked it up. I put that doggone whole thing up on a 45-degree angle or better, and stuck a hose in there with a transfer pump and flushed it out. Yeah, squatter that landed on the corner of this property for 3 years. Yeah, when we finally did kick him out, he sabotaged the damn thing by throwing a handful of dirt in it. Even after I got all the dirt cleaned out of it, there was still something that kept getting in there, and I finally got my scope down in there and really looked at it. Piece of cellophane. Cigarette wrapper cellophane.
I've seen that happen. Rubber gloves too. Eventually it works it over there around the suction tube and fucking throws it off.
No go. Yeah, and you shut it off, and a little while later you can fire it back up again. And it'll run for a while. Sometimes for a whole day. Yeah, because it sloshes around more, because it's not quite neutral. It's real close to being neutral in gasoline. If there's any moisture in the tank, it'll sit above it.
Yeah,
Yeah, little piece of cigarette wrapper. You really want to fuck them up, though. You find the brain box and swap 2 wires. You know, find a Molex plug and just swap 2 of the pins. They must have looking really, really good at it. Never figure it out. I could write 2 whole chapters in a book of dirty tricks. Yeah, don't dump sugar in a gas tank. It doesn't really dissolve in gasoline, but mothballs do. Mothballs would glaze the cylinders big time when they melt, and then the engine shuts off, and it's like glue. Yeah, but it doesn't really go very far. It clogs up the fuel line as far as you go. Bang. You know, it never gets any farther because it doesn't really dissolve. You want to get to a thorough job. Use mothballs. Like I said, it'll put a glaze on the inside of those doggone cylinder walls while it's hot, and as soon as that engine shuts off and cools down, it sets up like stone. Okay, I just ran that mixture in my head a couple of times. It came out weird, but okay. I can see where there's some potential for some heat. It's chlorine.
Yeah, chlorine. It's not called chlorine. Chlorine.
Right, and for some reason my brain just locked up.
Yeah, mine too. Anyway, back. You mix that with brake fluid, whatever the fuck brake fluid is. It explodes.
Oh, well, brake fluid's generally mineral oil. Yeah, there's something else in there too, but it starts off being mineral oil, and there's some additives in there so that there's supposed to be corrosion resistance, but I don't know. It gloms onto water too damn easy. The newer stuff now, the .4, that's some interesting stuff. It doesn't grab water. You know how you get rust in the bottom of the master cylinder? That usually